Hey guys, it's Cher. Today I am testing and reviewing the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation to see how well it works with dry skin and also to see if it's pale enough for me. So if you want to watch me test this foundation, then let's get into it. Okay, so this is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation in the color 201 Classic Ivory. Now before getting this, I have been using the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, the Dewy and Smooth, for like 2 years or something like that, at least like a year and a half. It's still a little bit too orangey for me right now, even though it's not in the summertime, but it is when it's not the summer. I have a hard time picking out foundations in general because sometimes even the lightest shade looks a little too warm for my skin tone. I don't know the exact shade that would look the best on me because I don't know if I'm cool toned or warm toned. I feel like to me, looking in the viewfinder, I look very yellow toned, but then when I buy a very yellow toned foundation or a warm toned foundation, sometimes it still comes off a little too yellow or orange depending on how pale I am. The reason I went with this foundation is because I've read some pretty good reviews from people who have both dry skin and pale skin, just like me. My skin is very dry, but I have to be very careful with moisturizing it because if I use too heavy of a moisturizer, then parts of my skin get more oily and like they break out really easily. So many foundations that I've tried recently have been too drying for my skin and they tend to cling to all of the dry patches that I have on my face. Like I said, I read some reviews on this foundation and people with both dry skin and really pale people have recommended it. So I'm gonna try it. It says that it is a lasting glow foundation that isn't dull or greasy. It has a radiant finish. It wears up to 24 hours. It has a medium coverage. I really just deal with like an overall dull appearance to my skin. I don't know how else to phrase that. And a little bit of redness on my forehead and my chin and right around my nose area. So really a medium or light coverage, whatever would work. On this side of my face, I'm going to apply this foundation with a brush. And then on this side of my face, I am going to be using a damp beauty blender to see what technique or method gives me the best results and what looks the smoothest. I'm super new at using a brush, so if I'm not doing it right, feel free to comment down below. So it seems to cover fairly well on this side of my face as far as I can tell. I'm not a big fan of this method of application, so I am going to try the other side with a beauty blender, which is what I usually do. Okay, I don't know how it's coming across in the viewfinder, but this is about all the coverage I would really need. It seems to cover up the red, and it's not gonna focus. It seems to cover up the redness that I have right here pretty well, even though the texture I have on my forehead, because of the irritation that I get on that area of my face, can be kind of hard to cover up regardless of how good the foundation is. I don't expect it to fully 100% cover that area up because it is my worst area. It doesn't feel super heavy or anything, and it does have a slight glowy appearance. The good news is that I feel like the color is spot on to my neck and my arm and everything else. So I'm really happy about that because I was scared it was gonna be too dark, and how embarrassing would that be? I'm going to go put the rest of my makeup on and see what it looks like when I'm done, and I'll be right back. I am back with the rest of my makeup on. It's taken me a while too. I really like this foundation, actually. I can't really see it in the viewfinder, but when I upload this later, I'll definitely see it. There's just a little bit of texture that I always have right here that is very hard to cover up with anything, whether it's foundation or concealer or anything. So I didn't fully expect this to take care of that because I haven't found anything to take care of that. And I think that it's more of a skincare problem than it is a makeup problem. Oops. It's definitely less glowy on its own than the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, but not in a bad way, just in a different way. I went ahead and took that damp beauty blender and work the product in on this side of my face because I just didn't like how the brush applied. So both sides of my face technically were done with a beauty blender, but that's just personal preference because I'm not used to the brush yet. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I like this foundation. I will definitely be incorporating this into my usual makeup routine, at least until I become tan enough to where I can go back to the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I would say it's the same amount of coverage and it feels about the same as the Fit Me foundation. I mean, am I blown away by it? No, but it did what I thought it would do, and it is relatively cheap. I think I only paid like $10 for it at Walmart. So for a drugstore foundation, I would recommend it for dry skin and also for pale skin because like I said, I was kind of nervous that it wasn't going to match my skin tone, but I feel like it's a perfect match and definitely a better match than what I'm dealing with right now with the palest shade of the Fit Me foundation. So this is definitely something I'm going to use until I can at least match that foundation again. Alright, that is all for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching me test out this foundation. If you have any other products that you'd like me to review for dry skin or pale skin or both or whatever, then just let me know down in the comments and I will look into that because I've been thinking. I feel like a lot of makeup people on YouTube deal with really oily skin and not necessarily so many beauty YouTubers deal with dry skin, and while I definitely don't classify myself as a beauty YouTuber. I barely classify myself as any YouTuber. There's definitely not that many videos that I run across on the daily about makeup products that are good for dry skin. So I've been thinking about maybe doing more of these types of videos. Also, I feel like it would be a good idea because so many people who do their makeup on YouTube have absolutely perfect skin, and I'm definitely one of those people that deals with redness, irritation. So let me know if you have any suggestions about anything I should try or that you would like to see someone with my skin type try, and I can review that for you. Make sure you like this video before you leave and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!